Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Like Queen Lisa. And today, this is it, the day we've all been waiting for, November 5th, Guy Fawkes Day. Just kidding. So remember the 5th of November. We are here. Hopefully, everyone got a chance. If you felt led to go out and vote, to do that, either early voting or not, there are all kinds of shenanigans. The shenanigans are back wild, and we will talk about that. And I'm going to talk about Cliff Hyde did an amazing interview over on the Beyond Mystic channel. If you guys didn't see that, it put JC up number one on all of Rumble. He knocked it out of the park, and it's not such great news for all of us, I don't think, but we'll talk about that. I also have some information about the missile test or something. We'll be right back with Satoshi Sean right after this. Happy Guy Fawkes Day.
Hello, happy Guy Fawkes Day to you. Or I should say, a person Fox Day.
Oh, goodness. I'm so tired of that. So tired of that. So ready to get rid of all the nonsense. And I will say that Uncle Cliff said there will be a significant event like around the 7th, and that we're supposed to, like, all the woo people are supposed to be ready to kind of, that there will be some exposure. I don't know if that's this Putin. I guess Putin has like a 4,000-page report about the elections shenanigans. There have been some reports about the Vatican and Italy, which that was the original reports. You remember the Leonardo, the satellite thing, and all of that, from the original cheat. So I don't know if they're playing the same song second verse, and they're just now, so like, okay, yeah, they cheated in 2020, but now they're telling people that's what's happening now. And they're just exposing it now for people, or if we're going all the way back to 2020.
It doesn't matter. Like I said, it's been so much has happened that even if Biden and Obama came out and said, yes, we cheated, everything was, blah, blah. I was born in Kenya. There's so.
How do you undo history?
You can't undo history. You can't. You can rewrite it, but you can't undo the things they've done.
Right.
I mean, technically, treaties are invalid or what. But if you have a treaty that 8 countries sign, if 7 of the countries are like, now we're good, we don't care about the fact that he was, whatever your little law is, that he have to be born in the United States, we don't care about any of that stuff.
Well, and you can't undead people. I mean, things have been done that can't be undone. There can be consequences, and we can move forward, but we can never go back. And I guess that's the biggest part, is maybe the truth has to be known so that we never go back. But
I think the truth is lost now. The truth has become that it's one of the things that when you realize, because at the time we're all like, why are they doing this? This is counterproductive to what their goals are. It's just stupid. And then 3-5 years later, you're like, oh, what's a woman? I don't know. And then
9 years later,
then all of a sudden,
then you see what they were trying to do.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's what it was. It was an attack on all facts, and they were just picking one thing. And now it's just, it's about feelings or this or so. I don't think I think the truth, my basic point, is that the truth has become subjective, whereas it used to be a factual thing.
Like a measurable thing.
The truth doesn't care about your feelings and that kind of thing. Yeah. I think they've actually kind of changed that in the zeitgeist of the world, because it's not just America. It's other countries, and other countries are waking up to where they're like, hey, this is a bad situation. This is stupid. This is wrong. So I think we're going through that, but it, I don't think when things are exposed that people believe it anymore. Like, let's say that the uh, uh, 911 happened today,
Mm-hmm.
and Biden came out instead of Bush and was like, "Oh yeah, jet fuel gets real hot and it can melt the beams," and that's what happened. I remember as a young fellow, like, that sounds dumb, but everyone's like, "Oh, thanks for the explanation, President. That you're not a scientist. You're not. That goes against common sense, but okay. That must be what happened." I think now, like GB said, the masses can't handle the truth. I think now the masses don't believe anyone.
Anyone.
I don't believe. If I don't. And there's some people like Republicans, and it's not even. No, it's not. I won't even go that far. I watched. I forget who it was, and they were talking about free speech, and it was like Charlie Kirk and Vivek. They were on a college campus, and they asked this girl, What are the two most important things to you for America that is most important?" And she said, "Stopping misinformation and lies, and something else." And then he said, "Well, what's misinformation?" And so they're trying to find common ground. And he says, "So you think anyone that lies, like media, not people, free speech, because they hit that first, but a media company that lies and puts out propaganda and things that aren't true should have their FCC license pulled." And she's like, "Yes, that's right. We agree." He said, "So CNN should have their license pulled." She was like, "Oh no, Fox News." And she goes, "What?" And then she starts arguing with them, and then they're like, "Hey, they did this lie, this lie, this lie, this lie." But it's like anyone that watches anyone that gets their news from the left absolutely thinks the right is evil,
Yeah.
propagandist, lies about everything, blah blah blah. And then everyone that watches anything from the left or
Thinks
from the
the
right,
same.
they think that the left is the one that's doing everything. So
Mm-hmm.
nobody believes anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also, people are lazy and don't want to do their own research. And sometimes their own research is like, "Oh, I talked to my uncle who's really big into politics, and he said." So
Or I actually watched the whole Melania interview, and instead of just thinking something about Trump or Melania, and then I saw that she actually um she supports body autonomy or whatever. Um, I didn't know that. And then I had people that are on the left that are like, "Oh, she is like against body autonomy." I was like, "Did you actually watch her interview?" Because she literally says she supports body autonomy. So
yeah, and
in
I
her
think
in those words
JB,
specifically.
what I was talking about is if it happened today, I don't think anyone would believe any. Like, they already have their preconceived notions. Everyone has preconceived notions now.
Mhm.
Everyone is so bigoted. Use the right word. Fine. They're so bigoted that they have the preconceived notions that whatever comes out of that guy's mouth is a lie. That person's mouth is a lie. You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
it's a terrible time.
Well, I remember it was a while back, and AOC was speaking in Congress. And I was shocked because she was calling out for, I think it was the Treasury or the Fed to be held accountable. And I was like,
Mhm.
what? Huh?
Yeah,
Um,
AOC's a good example because every now and then she says something, and I'm like,
that's actually good for the people.
yeah,
I was surprised, but that's where we have to start getting to know. So here in Geary, Oklahoma, Geary, recently, like over the weekend, I believe, the police chief quit.
hmm
Or was he fired? I believe he was fired. Um, and he, the entire police force quit because
happened in Texas to
the
like 2000.
council would not support him, and his message to no, he resigned. I'm sorry, he resigned, and the entire police force stood with him and stepped down, and they all fight. They all quit, and his message to the community was, I've been honored to serve you, all of this, but you really need to get to know your council people because they are not doing the will of the people and they are not supporting the police department. And you need to come to the meetings. You need to be a part of the community. You need to stop sitting back. And I think that's the wave that's about to happen with this non-election that we're about to go through, I believe, after listening to Uncle Cliff and then watching the shenanigans today, where this morning, wake up, check out the news, first thing out of the gate, Pennsylvania announces a delay because they're having technical difficulties. So they're already telling you they're delaying their results. First thing out of the gate this morning.
Yeah.
So we already know, don't expect any results tonight because Pennsylvania, Keystone State is already expecting a delay. So
which could decide everything.
Right. So we're already expecting a delay. This is going to be the never-ending election. The election, and remember The Simpsons where it said President Trump 2024, da 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 da, forever and ever and ever. That may be because this election never ends. In my mind, this is just a what if, hypothetical, just some dumb blonde talking. But then and that's where maybe that does save America, because we say, you know what? We don't need that. We haven't had a president for 4 years with Kamala and Biden. And we do go start paying attention at the local level, and we start holding our local official servants accountable, and we show up at our meetings and we say, why in the hell is our local police quitting and the council people running them off?
That's happened in Texas a couple times.
Well, and Texas did a great job pushing off.
And then they have to send state troopers in and other, because they have to have some kind of law enforcement.
Sure.
But there's this thing that happened the past couple of weeks in New Hampshire, and I will try not to cry, but the fire chief, it's really emotional. So he's addressing the council, and it's really boring. And he's like, "Hey, I want to call this guy up here. This is, Frank. He owns a garage and a gas station in, the next town, but he's a fireman here. Is his main job, and he is a certified diesel mechanic. He does the work on all of our fire engines, and he does that at a regular pay. When if he were to do that, so that saves us so much money. They'll just want to recognize him and all the work he does. He comes on his off time. If we break down, if one of the engines breaks down on the side of the road, he comes and fixes it with his mobile stuff. He brings his own tools from his shop. It's like he's an awesome dude, and money. And this guy is he's a retired fire chief, but he works for this other civilian company now. And if we have any problems or we need this, he puts us to the head of the line, and he does all these things that help out our town and the fire department. So he does this, and then he's like, the city, the people of the Derry, something, New Hampshire, they voted for us to have 13 firefighters that we need. I've always come in under budget of blah blah blah, but you guys have told me that we can only have 11, and you want me to cut other stuff, and for my integrity, I can't serve the people and keep them safe and do the budget stuff that you are wanting me to do.
Wow.
So I've been working for 15 or 18 years, but I'm going to resign, and I can't look at my kids. And he looks at his kids, and he's like, "You understand, girls, why I have to do this?" And his daughters are bawling their eyes out, and he keeps holding back tears. And And the council's like, okay, thanks. And the
What?
people went insane. They for them that, and then they like. There's all these videos of. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Why would you accept his resignation? The people turned on them like harder than it's like the
Wow.
peanut squirrel. You know, literally, like it's like the line. You know, but think about it. If you think about
Thank
it,
God there were people at the meeting and listening and caring what's going on in the community.
yeah, and that's the thing. People cared because they're like you said, these people are, and you can say Hollywood person, oh, you're so out of touch, or Nancy Pelosi, or you millionaires and billionaire, you're so
Right.
out of touch with people. But when it's your own city council, who they won by 8 votes, or
Right.
100 votes in a big city, that they're out of touch with you, that
That's
is like
terrible.
almost you're living on an alien planet. But I think that is what's coming. And I think goes along with what JB says, that people can't. They don't. Not that they don't want to understand the truth. I don't think. I think maybe not anymore. I think people can't wrap their heads around just how terrible things are. It's like when we talk about money, and Putin's fining Google quintillion dollars.
Yes.
There's so much. So it's
Quintillion or something
you
like that. Yeah.
can't,
It's more than the world's GDP,
yeah,
the
2.5
entire world.
decillion, 2.5 decillion.
Mhm.
And it's like you can't wrap your heads around it. When you think about just what $1 billion is,
Yeah.
1 billion is 1,000 millions. That
Mhm.
to me is insane.
Yeah.
And the trillion, you say the word like we're used to it. Oh, that cost $1 trillion. This is $1 trillion. That's 1,000 billions. So that's like a million millions. I mean, it's
I
so.
don't know. Andy has a great way to explain it, something about, like, with time or something, like, how long it would take to count it or something like that, like,
Yeah, exactly.
it's
Like to
insane.
spend it, if you just $1 billion, like if you spent $1 million a day, it would take you almost 4 years to
Wow.
spend that with no interest. So if you had interest, you probably couldn't even do it. Um, so I think that people, they just can't wrap their heads around how evil and how terrible things have gotten.
Yeah.
It's shot, and that's the reason why it's like they've lost 300,000 children. Oh well, that's terrible.
No,
Oh,
line them up. So
but
one of the things we used to
hold on,
do.
but if there's a kid that fell down a well, oh my God, stop the world! What's going on? We need this. We need this. Let's get this taken care of. This is
Well, if they're a little white girl,
one kid.
then they're watching on the news every night to see what happens.
It doesn't
Wow.
matter. I think it's
Wow.
people can't wrap their heads around how big and bad things are, that it's easier for them to just they don't process it. They can't process it. But I think what you're saying is true, that now people are, because it's like I don't get into politics and I'm really not that into politics. Like you've learned what philosophers have said for hundreds of years: those who don't care about politics deserve to be ruled by evil men.
Mm.
People are starting to get it. I have to be involved. If I don't work out, I'm going to get out of shape and things are going to get bad. If I smoke, if I drink, I'm going to have a shorter life. There's like people are just, they're getting it now.
But you have to tell the story for people to care. Just like you just told the story about the firemen and all of that, until it becomes personal to the people and becomes real to them, they don't care. When we were doing foster care and engaging the community, the reason we did the Christmas gifts and the wish list was because there was confidentiality, engaging people with kids in foster care because they're children and privacy issues and all that.
Mm.
But we could make the children real. It wasn't about giving me $10 or $50 or $100 for a child. I didn't want them to do that. I wanted them to take a list and them to see the child's first name, see that Sarah, who was 8, wanted a Barbie, and pink glove size, whatever, and that child became real to them because maybe they knew someone
Yeah.
named Sarah in their life. And that was what was powerful. And that's what got people engaged in foster care, whether it's through joining CASA or becoming a mentor or maybe becoming a foster parent or a respite or something. Like until the story is real and affects that vagus nervous system, people will keep checking out. And so I think that's why we're going through this.
And I'm giving them credit now. I don't think they check out. I think were made so they just can't comprehend.
They're numb to it. Yeah.
300,000 children.
Well, and that's why it has to,
Goes
that's
over your
part
head.
of Trump telling the stories at his rallies and the mothers sharing. I mean, I can't imagine how brave those families are sharing the heartbreaking. I mean, the Gold Star families that are sharing their stories about losing their sons and daughters, and from Biden's thoughtless pull out of Afghanistan.
A couple hundred children in a cage. I can understand. I'm outraged. 300,000 that are disappeared.
Right.
I'm not. That's what I'm
It's
watching. I'm watching a
mind-blowing.
science fiction movie. That's not.
And yeah, and there's more than that go missing every year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. And those numbers they're insane.
That's just, the 325,000 is just from the border. Yeah. So that's where, like, until that becomes real through storytelling and somehow having that be more tangible to us, like, it's too horrible. Like the whole panda thing, the whole people don't want to think about why Biden was biting the little baby chicken's leg on Halloween. And then when they asked Grok about it, and Grok was like, I need to reserve because of the inappropriate nature of this picture. And so Grok censored himself because of the connotation of what that picture meant, and with the panda standing next to him. So, I mean, when an AI is censoring himself because what the supposed administration is presenting publicly, people are in hardcore cognitive dissonance. They are refusing to acknowledge it because it is so painful to have to say, like, I'm refusing to hold them accountable. I'm refusing to look at it, to acknowledge what's going on in the world right now.
They're not. I don't think they're doing it. I think it is a defense mechanism.
Yes.
Built into us that we do. So
it's cognitive.
something I read this week, and I thought it was really interesting. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it in your head. Okay? What kind of car do you drive? Can you answer that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to ask it again. I want you to answer in your head, but in a Spanish accent. What kind of car do you drive? Now, I'm going to ask you and you tell me, what kind of car do you drive?
An SUV.
Okay. Now, who is real? Who are you? Are you the person? Are you the brain? Is the brain who we are? The voice you heard there, or is it the voice that you put out physically?
Say that again. Who am I?
Who is Lisa? Who is you? Who are you as a person, as a human? Whatever you want to boil it down to. Are you the brain? Is that who you are? The voice there, or are you the voice that you projected with your body? Which one of those is the real you?
I think I might like.
You even changed the accent. You heard the accent in your head, right?
Yeah.
You was okay. You're neither. You're the one who knew the difference.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a voice.
You're a third, but if you're this,
I'm my soul and my conscience.
This hit me hard. That the person that we are, the real person, is the soul, and the soul heard the voice in your head, and distinguished it from the voice from your mouth and heard the accent in your head. That those are just different parts of the machine, but who we actually are is like a third person. It's a soul. You were observing yourself. You were observing your answer. You were observing the accent of your answer, and you're observing what you said. We literally are like inside of ourselves. Just everything else is what we're making ourselves do. So maybe it is a defense mechanism because it's so hard for us to process that, the amount of evil. But I think people are also, they're like, what am I going to do? How do I fix that? There's, but something in your own local level, the fire chief, you can go and get pissed at these people and tell them they need to fix this, that you're paying the taxes, that you wanted 13 firemen, that you wanted this dude is, giving all he can to our community. You can take that step. And then I think once people start to get control and then they learn, it's like if you stand up to a bully, you're not going to be scared of the next bully. You're going to, no matter how you get bigger, it doesn't matter. You can stand up. Which I think hopefully is what will happen. But I want to get back to the peanut thing.
Well, let's talk about peanut on your channel because I only have a couple more minutes and I wanted to share some more information before we go. There is, because I know very little about peanut, and I would love to hear your thoughts on that. I do want to say I have a new heroine in my life. I'm not sure who this wonderful woman is, but she was told that she could not vote.
Yeah, that grandma,
because she had a Trump shirt on. So she took her damn shirt off and she went and voted. And I'm very proud of her. So round of applause.
Did you hear about the judge that told the dude he can't come in with his shirt?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's bad. It's the same story as her, but it's scary.
Interesting.
Can we tell you, or do you want to wait?
I mean, it just depends on how much time we have. So, because I've got to talk about the missile thing. So tell me if it's quick.
Oh yeah, it's quick. So this guy comes in with the same thing, like Trump shirt, and there's a judge there though, because it's in a courthouse, and he's like, you can't come in here and you can't vote wearing your political stuff. And he was like, yeah, I can. It's freedom of speech. He's like, no, you can't. So the Jew called the cops, and they came and told the judge, no, he can wear what he wants. There's no sign posted. There's nothing that you could have done. So no, they leave. He goes and votes. The judge comes over to the lady and said, I want you to go make a copy of his ballot. And the judge took pictures of them and video. And he said, I'm making a case. And she went and made a copy of his ballot that he voted on, yes, and gave it to him. So he called the cops again, and they came out and they're like, dude, that is so many laws that you broke, Judge.
Oh my God.
And they started taking witnesses' statements. It's like,
wow,
that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
There's some serious, I mean, I've heard all kinds of crazy stories today about they're turning the power off in California in places, saying it's some test thing, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, we talk about what's going on. I think that the huge difference between 2016 and or 2016, 2020 and now over on my channel, because I have a lot to say.
Okay. Yeah. So there's 3 separate messages from Trump telling people to stay online. If you're online, stay online. And some people are interpreting that as like, Republicans stay online, don't get offline.
Online, don't get offline and vote. Make sure you get through and vote.
So maybe like if you're online, don't disconnect or something. Stay online
and vote. Make sure you get through and vote. We're gonna have a big victory tonight.
Sometimes his words mean more than what he's like technically saying here, 5 Trump leaning counties in Pennsylvania are experiencing Maricopa County type widespread machine failures. This time ES&S Microvote partnering up with Dominion rigging systems, and they're showing all that. This was interesting to me. Putin is okay. So this goes with the missile thing. Putin is releasing a 4,000-page report exposing how elites have rigged 2024 election. According to Putin, the global elite believe consequences of the U.S. election are far too important to allow American people to decide the outcome. 4,000-page report. Klaus Schwab, Barack Obama, Bill Gates, George, and Alex Soros as co-conspirators to the plot. Putin has gathered evidence, but according to Russian sources, he now believes the moment has arrived to expose deception and enlighten the public. So and then people were saying that they are, okay, the Pacific Gas and Electric Company in California is shutting off power in several predominantly Republican areas of the state, referring it to as a planned power outage. Right there is where I saw the thing about the U.S. is set to test a hypersonic nuclear missile just hours after election polls close. So I have a friend with family military ties who said that the U.S. does not have a hypersonic nuclear missile, but Russia has the fastest one, and it goes 4 to 5 times the speed of sound. And so I'm curious if that has something, if that is somehow connected with this Russia report that's going to be coming out, or if it's actually the Russia missile. That's not.
I don't think Russia has anything we don't have. Number one, they've shown this one thing that this war has shown is the antiquation and the exposing their tanks were supposed to be like the best tanks ever, and they're being destroyed by our Bradley fighting vehicles that aren't even classified as tanks. They do have this amazing, badass, hypersonic, kick-ass missiles. That's what they hit when they hit Ukraine back really hard. They sent a couple of those missiles, and they are like you can't stop them. You can't do it with an Iron Dome. They're too fast. They're very powerful. I was gonna talk about it when you couldn't make it for a show when we didn't do one, because I researched the shit out of them, and they're badass. But there's I don't think there's anything that Russia
Look
has.
what I am just said, though. True fact. Russia developed a hypersonic missile, and we have not been able to. So see, there's another person confirming that. And so this is confirmed now by I am and my friend who their family does this kind of stuff in the military. So
let me tell you this little story. When I was financial advisor, I was focused on the military. I only worked in the military. And we have a tank that has a very special armor. It was top secret armor, but people like to talk, and they told me all about the armor. So there's a lot of people that were things like 99 Mike or whatever the MOS is for tankers, and I just start talking about the armor, and about 90% of the people will be like, "Oh yeah, the armor, you know about that." Only 10% is like, "How do you know about that? What's going on? That's top secret." Blah blah blah. So it would break down the walls. People would trust me with the because I knew about the top secret armor. So I think our own government would not let us know
what we have.
If we have, because and just under secrecy, because do you know how to keep a secret? Yeah, so do I. So no, I'm not going to say anything. We have laser technology that we admit to. They're not admitting to space lasers and other things. Fine, but they do admit to giant lasers on our Navy ships that can burn through a ship at 15 miles away or however far away. especially if it's like a wooden ship, like for pirates, it's like Somalia and stuff like that.
Hmm.
You can torch it in a matter of seconds, and just they're going down, they're on fire. So they do admit to that, but I think when it comes to our military capabilities, that we don't know jack, especially like the research and development arm of the military, whether that be civilian contractors or whoever. It's not going to be public knowledge,
Well, maybe the test tonight gets us caught up with Russia. I don't know. But I'm just telling what my information is. So let's go over. Before we go over, everybody, please say hi to Legacy Zach. That is our friend that we have, that we're on World Blockchain Roundtable with. Check out his channel over on The Legacy Right. They have great interviews. I think everybody on our fam here would really enjoy watching their channel, The Legacy Right. And good to see you, Zach. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
So, everybody jump over to Satoshi Sean's channel, and we will see you guys over there for more.
Second half will be over on my channel. Remember, hit the like button before you leave.
Thank you. See you guys there.